Welcome to Unit 4, Episode 3. And so the last episode was about finding a Bible and why it's both difficult and easier than ever. But now the question is, if finding a Bible isn't hard enough, what do you do when you have a question about something that you read in the Bible, which is going to happen to you? There are thousands of websites that are all saying something different. If you just type into Google, here's something I'm wondering about, or here's something I'm thinking about, you're going to get all kinds of results from all kinds of different places, some of which are really unreliable and unhelpful. Now, I'm going to suggest some resources that I think will help you in that journey and kind of getting some of your questions answered. But here's the main thing I want you to know, is that the results of a quick Google search cannot compare to the collective wisdom of experienced believers. The results of a quick Google search cannot compare to the collective wisdom of experienced believers. When you're getting started into reading the Bible, one of the main things that I would suggest is making space in your life for reading the Bible with other believers. Whether that's reading along with a sermon that you're listening to at your church on Sunday, or whether it's with a group of other believers in a small group, or what our church calls discipleship communities. These are both ways that you can read the Bible with other people. And I will guarantee you that people who are further along the journey of reading the Bible will do more for you than just the results of the top hit on a Google search. And if you are somebody who's been reading the Bible for a while, I suggest making space in your life for reading the Bible with people who are new to it as well, because you actually know more than you think about the Bible just from years of having engaged with it. And you might be really helpful for somebody who's just getting started in their journey. But in addition to surrounding yourself with more experienced believers, I want to introduce you to just a few resources, and we'll have some videos after this episode that you can watch to check some of these out. But I want to introduce you to a few free resources that will help you as you read the Bible. The first is simply the Bible Project, and I've talked about this over and over and over again. And we've shown you a few videos from them over the course of this series or this course. And they have hundreds of videos on nearly every subject you can imagine in the Bible, and they're constantly coming up with new ones. And I suggest you go to their website, you familiarize yourself with what's on there. And they also have a podcast as well where they walk through some different questions that people have about the Bible. Another resource that I suggest is what's called She Reads Truth or He Reads Truth. And it's an organization that creates Bible reading plans that guide thousands of men and women across the world in reading the Bible together every day. And they have apps, they have books, and they even have their own edition of the Bible. And one thing I love about them is that their graphic design quality is amazing. So if you're somebody that really cares visually about the Bible that you're reading, their graphic design quality is really good, and it draws you into wanting to read the Bible. And what they do is they break it down into daily readings that you can do, and each day's reading has helpful questions that can guide your thinking and a little bit of commentary to help you make sense of what's happening. It's a really good resource. I know a lot of people in our church who use it. Another resource is also from the Bible Project, but it's called the Read Scripture app. The Read Scripture app. And this app was created by the Bible Project to help people read the whole Bible in a year, or really, as long as you want. But basically, it breaks down the Bible into 365 different chunks. And as you're reading along, it also inserts any video from the Bible Project that's relevant. I've suggested this one to a lot of people, and in fact, I'm going to suggest it to you after this whole unit is over as something to consider doing over the next year, is actually following along with their plan and using it to read through the whole Bible. But it's a really helpful app for engaging with and reading the Bible. Fourth one that I want to tell you about is an app called YouVersion. YouVersion, Y-O-U version. This app has every version of the Bible imaginable on it. Again, sometimes way too many on it, and it has lots of reading plans that you can use. I was using one this morning that again was created by the Bible Project, but is inside of YouVersion to read in the Bible. It can track your reading streaks. If you like that kind of thing, it can save your highlights. It can let your friends see what you're reading if you have some Christian friends as well. And the other thing I love about it is it has audio versions as well of all the Bibles so that you can listen. I'll often use YouVersion while I'm doing the dishes at home or while I'm on a walk just to listen to the Bible and just experience it in a different way. And I know some people don't like to read, but they can listen to things all day. Or maybe you're busy and the best time to read the Bible is on your way to work. That could be a great app for you. Another resource I want to tell you about is called Look at the Book. Look at the Book. It's a project from an organization called Desiring God, which was founded by a pastor named John Piper. John Piper is a really well-known pastor and theologian, but what he does in Look at the Book is he takes a lot of famous passages from the Bible and he breaks them down and he actually shows you how to study those passages. And I watch them sometimes in preparation, for a sermon or my own Bible study, and I get a lot out of them. He's made so many of them, and I encourage you to check those out as well. And we're going to have one at the end of this episode that you could try as well if you want to see one right now. And then finally, the last thing, there's so many other things I could recommend, but one of the last things I just want to point you to is on Netflix, there are some gospel films. And what those are is they take the whole gospel, like, for example, the Gospel of Matthew or the Gospel of Luke, and the whole gospel is being read. And then in the background, it's being acted out. And I think they're really, really well made, especially if you're a visual learner. These can be really good because it's not like they're just, a typical film about Jesus where they're, taking some of the words and then retelling it in their own way. They're simply reading the whole Gospel of Matthew or the whole Gospel of Luke, so they're like 3 or 4 hours long, and in the background it's being acted out, and so that you can get a visual sense of what's going on can really help you enter into the world of the Bible. Now, I know that some of you are readers and you might prefer a different kind of resource. A few resources that can be helpful for people. There's a theologian named N.T. Wright who has a series just called the For Everyone series, and he has little commentaries on pretty much every book of the New Testament, maybe even the Old. There's an author named Gordon Fee who wrote a book called Reading the Bible for All It's Worth. But in the end, I really think you can't beat just a great study Bible. And so I'd really suggest that's one of the best resources for reading the Bible well. Now, before continuing on to the next episode, we want you to actually check out some of these resources. So I'd encourage you to watch an episode of John Piper's Look at the Book, or watch one of the Bible overview or one of the Bible book overviews from the Bible Project. And we've included some samples on our webpage for this at bellevuechristian.church/Bible that you can check out just to get a taste of what some of these resources are. The second thing we want you to do then is to complete the Bible mini-study on Matthew 4, 1 through 11, and answer the question, what am I learning about the Bible from this passage?